It's been 2 years, and thanks to you, the Yankee Camper is growing strong. So, to celebrate, I'm starting a new series, and we're going to take a look at some of the channel's history on this week's Baking with the Yankee Camper Turkey Pot Pie. I'm pleased to be coming up on my 2-year anniversary, and I've decided to try baking in my oven for my parents. I'll talk about that in a little while, but let's put together a recipe that I've been working on literally for years to be able to put together and bring to you. This is turkey pot pie. Now this recipe doesn't work as my making a mess recipes because I'm baking in the oven and I'm going to use refrigerated turkey for this. However, following the same style that I've used in the past, I'm going to put together the non-refrigerated ingredients into a paper bag. For that, we'll start with an 8.5 ounce can of peas and carrots. So I'm going to place that in my paper bag that I've marked turkey pot pie. And next, I've got my ingredients for my crust, which I've placed into a small Loctite bag. I'll place this into the paper bag as well. And that's made up of a half a cup of all-purpose flour, a half a teaspoon of baking powder. Eliminating the baking powder will make the crust a little denser and less bread-like. Also in there is 2 tablespoons of dry powdered milk, 1 teaspoon of dried butter powder, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. Moving on to the dry ingredients for the gravy, we have 1/3 of a cup of the dry instant milk, another half a teaspoon of butter powder, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, that will thicken it up, 1 teaspoon of chicken granules, 1/4 of a teaspoon of onion powder, a half a teaspoon of parsley, and a dash of black pepper. You may notice that there's no salt in this mix, and that's because the bouillon is very, very sodium rich. I've placed all of my dry ingredients into my Loctite plastic bag, and I'll just place this right into the paper bag as well. And I'll seal this up, and the dry ingredients are ready to go. As for the turkey for this recipe, I went to the deli and got 3 slices of thick cut turkey breast. These will be in my cooler, and I'll add them to the gravy mix before putting the pie in the oven. I hope you're excited about this recipe. I know I am. I'm looking forward to seeing how it comes out. I haven't used the oven yet, and so this is an experiment that you're coming along with me. Before I do that, however, I'd like to share a few highlights from my last 2 years. I want to sincerely thank all of you who have grown with this channel. The number of subscribers has nearly doubled in the last year to over 500. I truly appreciate that you have made that happen. I hope it continues to grow, and I will do my best to keep making the content interesting and informative. The idea for this channel actually started more than 20 years ago in the form of a book. I wanted to create a cookbook for outdoor enthusiasts that would use shelf-stable food and a mess kit to make meals that didn't rely on expensive foil packs and offer a wider variety. Many of the meals in my first year are taken from those recipes I created as lunches prepared at work. Here are a few of my favorite making a mess meals. Maple cream of wheat with a side of bacon. Put some of that right into there. Add a little bit of our white cheddar seasoning. I'm making grape nut custard for breakfast, but it's the night before. So let's get out our ingredients. I'm going to head over to the kitchen section at the end of the picnic table where the stove is, and I'll finish up the process over there. I knew that just creating recipes wouldn't cover enough topics to put out a weekly video. Plus, I wanted you to see these recipes being made under real conditions at a campsite. In order for that to happen, I'd need to go camping. I had the equipment, years of experience, and I began to feel that the publicly owned campgrounds at state parks are a resource many young people are simply unaware of. These also take me back to my roots of camping with my family growing up. I knew from experience that one doesn't need electricity or on-site water to enjoy the outdoors, so I began selecting campgrounds that were nearby. I also felt that many people coming to New England from the outside were missing a lot of what the region has to offer. There's nothing wrong with lobster rolls and clam chowder, but this area has so much more to offer. I'm also proud of my ancestral roots dating back to the Pilgrims and had a number of Yankee stereotypes in my family, including frugality. Thus, the next part of the channel grew into the campgrounds around the 6 states making up New England. I've enjoyed staying at all of them thus far, but here are a few that stand out. I also wanted to share with you, the viewers, some of the equipment I use and why. I think a lot of camping equipment goes unused, and there's often too much of an emphasis on buying new. If you know what to look for, good, lightly used gear can be found at garage sales and secondhand stores for a bargain. Much of the items were built to a much higher standard than cheap knockoffs of modern replicas made from inferior materials. I thought I'd share my understanding in creating videos on the gear I use, and here are a few of the highlights. You just simply put your arms through like that. With a decent camp knife, you can cut rope or cut meat and vegetables. They have quite a number of tents here, and I'm just going to point out the one that I would recommend if you were just getting started. But I wanted the channel to be more than dry information. I wanted it to be educational and easy to digest short segments about some of the fascinating history, people, and objects that this area has produced. I collect stories like some people collect trading cards. I've shared more than 130 topics over these past 2 years, and I still have more than 100 additional, plus the list keeps growing. That's 2 topics every week for the next year, even if I don't discover any more, which is unlikely. These are just a bit of the ones I've enjoyed creating. Hi, neighbor. Have a Gansett. I've also done a Christmas special each of the last 2 years, and will probably throw in a couple more specials during the upcoming year. And speaking of the upcoming year, I will continue to use my parents' old camp oven to make recipes that just don't work in a mess kit. Just for fun, here's a couple of the bloopers that I've collected over the years. Enjoy. Okay, that's not working. I'm making scrambled eggs. As for the turkey, As for the turkey for this recipe, I went to the deli and got 3 slices of thick cut that's how you use your lunch. Wait till you see what I did to the turkey gravy. I just might call these segments in my baking series, "What do you think?" Well, what do you think? Let's get started on the turkey pot pie. I hope you're enjoying this video, but I don't receive any compensation for this. One thing you can do is buy me a cup of coffee. Doesn't have to be very much. Just a couple of dollars would be great. I'll put a QR code and the link right over here. Now, let's get back to the video. I'm excited that I've been doing this for 2 years, and I'm happy to be starting this new series using the oven that my parents had when they were camping. The very first recipe that I'm going to make is one that I've had in mind for a while. It's turkey pot pie, so let's get out the dry ingredients that we'll need for this. We've got a can of peas and carrots. We've got the dry pie mix. And we've got the dry pie crust mix. This is basically the same as the bannock. So if you've seen that video, you'll see how I make this, but I'm going to change it up and use it as a crust on the pie. So we'll set these ingredients aside. Let me go over the other things that we'll need for making this. We'll need the mess kit. This is my small mess kit, and from it, I'll need the pan, the small pot, and the measuring cup. Just going to place this and the lid aside. I'll also need a can opener to open the peas and carrots, a cutting board for the turkey, along with a knife, pot holder, a mixing bowl, a baking dish. This is a loaf-sized pan, just aluminum, and a dish. Let's start by opening the peas and carrots. Now we're just going to put those peas and carrots right into the pan. Using a spoon, get out all the rest of the vegetables. We'll take our turkey pot pie mix. I'm just going to put that right into the same pot. Give that a stir around, let everything get covered. You may have to add a little bit of water to that. Let's see how it ends up after we add the turkey in. For now, I'm just going to place that aside. I've taken my turkey out of the cooler. Just going to open that up and cut that into bite-sized pieces. And we'll just add those turkey pieces right into the pan. And you be the judge on how much to put in. I've added just about half, and I think that I'm just going to put the rest of this aside eat it as a snack. As you can see, that's fairly full. I'm just going to add a little bit of water to that and stir it around. Let's light the stove. And we'll set that to about a medium heat. Now we're going to place this right onto the burner. Using a fork, we'll keep an eye on it while it heats through and begins to bubble and thicken. Continue to mix that as the heat comes up. Oh, I can smell that this is starting to burn. Just going to remove it from the heat. Should have kept an eye, I should have stirred that more. Sort of caught on the bottom. Let that sit aside for a minute. Why don't we make our crust using our bowl? We'll just pour the dry ingredients right in. I'm going to add water just a little bit at a time. Mix that up. You want the dough to be thick and not too wet. You can see that's still a little bit dry. Just continue to add in some water until you get it into a nice thick mix. And you can see that is fairly thick, but very pliable. I'm going to use my pan and just place this right into the pan. And now you'll want to work it around so that it's fairly thin. I'm going to light the stove and set the oven on it and start to preheat the oven. I'll turn those down low. Then we'll place the oven right on top. While that oven heats, I've realized that I believe I have enough to make two. So I got a second pan. And we're just going to spoon this right into the pans. And we'll try to put them in as equal amounts. And you can see I've about half filled those using my fork. I'm going to divide this in half. You know, there may just be enough for one. This is on top of here. That's a little full, so I'm just going to make a aluminum foil tray to be able to keep it from spilling inside the stove. These corners up like so. And then I'm going to place this in the oven. Now we'll place our pie right into the oven. That pie is in the oven. I'm going to let the temperature come up to a high medium, and we'll let that cook for 30 minutes. I'll see you in 30 minutes. This oven is one of the few items from my parents that I don't know much about. It sat in the basement among our camping equipment while I was growing up, but it never went on a trip with us. Maybe that was because my mom wasn't much of a baker, and she certainly wasn't going to start while camping. Actually using it makes me happy. I remember thinking how sad it was to see it sitting there in the basement of my childhood home collecting dust. It's a bit bulky to bring along, and it's certainly bigger than I need when camping alone, but it reminds me that ordinary people were able to do some amazing things while living in a tent. After doing some research, I'm fairly certain what it's not. No double wall construction or floor. It does, however, closely resemble a Boss Deluxe camp oven. Or so I'm told. I couldn't find a picture of one, and it has no identifying markers. Boss embossed their name on many, though not all, of their products. Some plain skin models were manufactured for sale through hardware stores and other retailers. I suspect that's where this one was originally purchased. It likely was built by the Huenfeld Company of Cincinnati, Ohio in the 1930s. This company was founded by German immigrant Ernst Huenfeld in the 1870s. In 1909, he created the historic Boss oven, which featured specialized glass built into the door, guaranteed not to crack from high heat. These types of ovens were very popular during the car camping boom before World War II. Part of that era also overlapped with the Great Depression, and ovens like this were often used to help feed families by sitting atop a two-burner kerosene stove. I'm not much of a baker either, runs in the family, but some foods just don't turn out right on a stovetop because the heat isn't distributed evenly. This oven is a little larger than I need, but I already own it, so I might as well put it to use. The temperature gauge on the front probably isn't very accurate, although it did allow me to verify that the temperature remained fairly consistent. I don't plan to replace it, but I will pick up a modern oven thermometer so I can better keep track of the temperatures in future bakes. I'll be making cornbread in a future video, and I also have plans to try baking a small cake as well as some muffins. Is there anything you'd like to see me make in this 90-year-old piece of history? In the comments section, tell me, what do you think? Now, let's check on the turkey pot pie. Well, let's check on the pie. Oh, that looks done to me. I'll turn off the burners underneath. Pull that out. I have to say it doesn't look too bad. So I am going to grab my plate and just flip this right into the plate. Use my fork. Turkey pot pie made in my camp oven. I don't come with any backups. So if I mess up the meal, I either eat it or go hungry. I have to tell you, I burned that gravy pretty bad. It was terrible. I ate about half of it, but that was it. Oh well, next time we'll know better. If you enjoyed me making this video, please give it a thumbs up. It just lets YouTube know that you enjoy the content that I'm putting out. If you're not already subscribed, consider doing so. I try to put out a video every week on the recipes that I make, including my new baking series, as well as making a mess, places that I camp around New England, and the gear that I use. If you have any thoughts about this or any of the content on my channel, leave a comment in the comment section. I try to get back to every single one. In the meantime, I hope you'll get outside. And thank you for watching.